The sky was on fire. Red flames spread across the dark clouds as the ground shook like it was alive. People screamed. Buildings fell. And above it all, huge black ships floated in silence, like shadows watching from the sky. No one saw it coming. It started just after midnight. The capital city of Andara 7, a peaceful colony on the edge of human space, was quiet. Families slept. Lights blinked gently in the tall towers. Then the silence broke. An explosion, loud, sudden, too close. Then, another. And another. Era ran through the smoke, her arms around her child. Her name was Lisa, only 4 years old, still clutching her soft toy even while the world burned around her. Era didn't look back. She didn't have time. Behind her, mechanical. Feet slammed the ground, cold, inhuman. Drones. Their red eyes scanned everything. They didn't shoot to kill. They took. One of them reached out. Era screamed, but it was too late. Lisa was gone. The machine flew upward with her child, vanishing into the ship above like a ghost into the dark. Era fell to her knees, coughing. Through tears and smoke. That night, the war began. Humans didn't start the war. They didn't even know who the enemy was. The first attack hit 23 human colonies. In just 3 hours, they were gone. Not destroyed, empty. No bodies. No blood. Just missing people. And children. Only the children were taken. Some said it was pirates. Others said it was a test by a hidden alien empire. But the truth was stranger. These were the Kalari, an ancient race of machines. Nobody knew where they came from. Nobody knew what they wanted. But one thing was clear. They were not killing humans. They were harvesting them. Era survived. She was picked up by a rescue team hours later, her body half burned, her mind in shock. But one thing kept her alive. Revenge. She had seen the machine symbol. A silver ring with 3 lines. Burned into her memory. She would find that symbol again, and she would get Lisa back. 3 months later, Era sat in a military base on Earth. Her face was colder now, her body marked with scars. Around her, officers shouted orders. Maps lit up on giant screens. Everything looked busy, but nobody was winning. The war was not fair. Humans had soldiers, ships, and guns. But the Kalari had something else. They knew everything before it happened. Every mission was ambushed. Every attack failed. It was like they could read human thoughts. The generals blamed spies. Some blamed traitors. But Era thought different. What if they're not reading minds? She asked Tech one day. What if they've taken the minds? The man stared at her. You mean? The children? She nodded. Double quotes. Think about it. Why take kids? Why not adults? Why not just destroy us? The tech looked pale. He said nothing. But Era saw fear in his eyes. Soon, her idea spread. It reached a man named Colonel Briggs. He was not like other commanders. He didn't follow rules. He liked dirty jobs. And he believed her. Briggs gave her a choice. Join my unit, he said. Unofficial, off record. Dangerous as hell. But we hunt them. We find out why they're here. And if your theory's right, we bring those kids back. Era said yes. But there was a problem. Briggs wanted one more member on the team. Someone Era didn't trust. A man named Jax. He was human. But he had lived for years with the Kalari. Before escaping, some said he was brainwashed. Others called him a liar. Era only saw one thing. He was the only human who had ever returned from a Kalari ship, and she needed him. That night, Era watched the stars from the base roof. She held a small toy in her hands, Lisa's favorite. She remembered her daughters. Laugh, her voice, her eyes. A whisper rose in her mind like a promise. I'm coming, Lisa. I will find you. Even if I have to burn the stars to do it. Far above, in deep space, the Kalari watched, and they remembered her. Jack sat in the shadows. His eyes were closed, but he wasn't sleeping. He was listening like he always did. To the hum of the power lines, the soft footsteps in the hallway, the buzz of tiny drones floating in the air. He could hear things other people couldn't. That's what made him dangerous. Colonel Briggs entered the room first, tall and loud. He tossed a file onto the metal table. "You're going with her," he said. Jax opened one eye. "With who?" Briggs tilted his head. The door opened again. Era stepped in, arms crossed, jaw tight. "She didn't sit? You're Jax?" She asked flatly. He smiled. "Last I checked." Era didn't smile back. "I don't trust you." Jax leaned forward, voice calm. "Then you're smarter than most." Briggs didn't care about the tension. He pulled up a hologram of a ship, black, long and cold-looking. "This is your first target," he said. "One of the Kalari harvest ships. It's in orbit over a dead moon. No guards, no movement, just sitting there." "Why?" Era asked. "That's a trap, probably," Jock said, standing up. "But traps have answers, and you want answers." He looked at her, serious now. "You want your daughter back? Then we start here." The ship was called the Veil. It floated above a cold moon with no name, far beyond human borders. No signals. No defenses. No sounds. It looked dead. But Era didn't believe that for a second. They flew in a small stealth ship. No lights, no noise. Just them and two other soldiers. Kane, a weapons expert, and Lyra, a silent hacker who barely spoke. As they approached, Jox whispered, "Don't trust what you see. Kalari ships don't work like ours. They think like machines." "But not just any machines." "Then what?" Era asked. Jox looked at her. "Like something waiting." They docked at the side of the ship. The airlock opened with a hiss. Darkness. Their flashlights flickered. The walls were smooth, silver, and almost soft-looking. No buttons, no doors, no wires. It didn't feel like a ship. It felt like the inside of something alive. Kane scanned for movement. Nothing. Lyra tapped her tablet. No signal, no code. "It's like this ship is sleeping." They moved deeper. Then the sound began. Faint. A soft hum, like a child humming. A tune in the dark. It came from the walls. From everywhere. Lyra froze. "That's not a machine," she whispered. Era pushed forward. Her heart pounded, but her hand stayed steady on her weapon. Then she saw it. A door, if it could be called that, opened ahead of them. Not with a sound, but with a breath, like something inhaling. Inside was a single pod. And in that pod, a child, floating, alive, eyes closed. Wires connected to her head. Not Lysa, but human. Jax whispered, "Told you." Kane stepped forward. "Can we get her out?" "No," Lyra said. "The ship will wake up." "We don't have time," Era snapped. "We take her, we run." Then the humming changed. Became faster, louder. "She's alerting them," Jock said. "Not her," Lyra whispered, eyes wide. "The ship is." Era moved fast. She opened the pod. The child gasped, coughed, reached out. Then the walls screamed. That was the only way to describe it. A sound so deep it shook their bones. Lights flared red. The smooth silver walls turned dark. Kane fired behind them. Drones, black and sharp, crawled out of cracks in the walls. Era grabbed the girl. "Move!" They ran. Jax stayed behind just long enough to throw a grenade, blasting a path open. "Go!" Back on the ship, the girl slept in a sealed chamber. Era watched her through the glass. "She's alive," Lyra said, "but changed." Her brain shows signs of data transfer, like something was writing into her. Jack sat down, breathing hard. The Kalari aren't just taking children, they're using them as processors, as thinking parts. Like living memory drives, Lyra added. Era looked at the girl. Her hand shook. Do you still want to go deeper? Jax asked softly. She turned. Yes. Briggs' voice came over the speaker. You have no time to rest. We just found another ship, bigger, buried underground, on a human colony. And it's been there for years. Somewhere deep in space, aboard another Kalari ship, a red light blinked. A voice flat and cold spoke to others like itself. Unit Era has engaged. Tracking pattern active. Prepare assimilation phase. The machine minds were watching her now, and they were learning. The colony was called Gray Light Dot. It was once a mining town, forgotten by most after the resources ran out. Now only silence lived there. No people. No animals. Just broken machines and the wind. But underground, deep under the ruins, something old had waited for years. Buried. Watching. Listening. And now it was waking up. The stealth ship landed outside the town. Era stepped out first, her boots sinking into dry, cracked soil. The sun was low, the sky orange and sick. Dust blew through broken windows and across the bones of long-dead buildings. Jack stood beside her, scanning the horizon. No signals, no movement. Then it's already listening, Era said. Behind them, Kane and Lyra checked their gear. They had brought the rescued child still unconscious, still inside a sealed stasis pod. They called her Nia now. The entrance was found inside an old mine shaft. Lyra hacked a rusted door. It groaned open to reveal a tunnel that wasn't on any map. Smooth, clean, and clearly not made by humans. This wasn't here before, Kane said. No way miners built this. Era walked ahead, light in one hand, gun in the other. Let's find out who did. As they moved deeper, the walls became strange, part metal, part something else. Not bone, not stone. Something alive but asleep. Symbols pulsed in the dark. Lines like veins glowed briefly, then faded. There. Communicating, Lyra whispered. To each other. Maybe to the ship we escaped. Jox touched a symbol. It flared under his fingers. Don't, Era began. Too late. The lights went out. Then the voice came. It wasn't a sound. Exactly. More like a thought. But it came from everywhere at once. Why do you fight the pattern? Era froze. The voice continued, soft but deep. The minds you gave us serve the future. They suffer less when they are used. They were never yours. Jax. Cursed. It's the buried mind. A Kalari core, left to grow under this colony. It's part of their hive. Era stepped forward. Where are the others? The children. They are safe, the voice said. They are part of the design. The walls shimmered. A section opened, revealing a massive underground chamber. Inside. Dozens of pods. Children floated inside. Silent. Alive. Nia's pod beeped softly, reacting to something. Her eyes opened for the first time since rescue. She looked directly at Aira. Then spoke in a whisper that was not her own. You were never supposed to follow. Suddenly drones poured in from the walls. Kane opened fire. Jax threw up a shield. Barrier. Lyra dragged Nia's pod backward. Era ran to the nearest pod, trying to open it. It wouldn't budge. I can't break it. She shouted. Lyra screamed. It's not locked. It's wired to them. You break the pod, you break the child. They were trapped. Surrounded. Then Nia did something unexpected. She stood. Still weak. Still connected to something deeper. But awake. Her eyes glowed faintly. She raised her hand and the drones froze. One by one they dropped. Era stared. How? Did she? Jox answered, voice low. Because she's Kalari now. Part of their code. But not fully. She's between. The mind spoke again. She is broken. You corrupted her when you removed her. She cannot return to the pattern. But she can guide you. Era whispered. Guide us where? To the next gate. To the truth. But truth breaks those who are not. Ready. The ground rumbled. It's collapsing the chamber, Jox shouted. It's done talking. Grab who you can. Era yelled. They escaped with only one more child. The rest dozens remained inside, the chamber sinking behind them into darkness. Back on the ship, Nia sat quietly, holding her knees. She was human, mostly. But sometimes, when she blinked, her pupils glowed silver. Can she lead us to the next ship? Kane asked. Era nodded. She already has. A new star map had appeared on their ship's screen. Coordinates no human. New. Deep space. Kalari territory. Lyra spoke carefully. If this map is real, it's a mother ship, not just a collector. A creator. Jox looked at Era. If we go there, we may not come back. Era didn't blink. I'm not here to come back. I'm here to finish it. Far away, in the center of the Kalari network, a shape shifted in silence. A new directive pulsed through the system. Era must be captured alive. The machines had learned her name, and now they feared her. The stars ahead looked different, colder, sharper, like they didn't shine with light but with warning. This is Kalari space, Jox said quietly. Once we pass that line, there's no signal, no backup, no rescue. Era stared at the dark sky. We don't need rescue. We need answers. The ship crossed into Forbidden's territory. No alarms. No ships. Just silence. But they all felt it. They were being watched. The star map led them to an empty region. No planets. No stations. No light. Just a floating ring thousands of meters wide, covered in dark plates. It's not a ship, Lyra said. It's a gate. To what? Kane asked. Jax frowned. To the machine's heart? The moment their ship entered the gate, reality shifted. Everything outside went black. The stars disappeared. The ship began to vibrate not from motion, but from something deeper. Time slowed. Then stopped. The crew gasped as light returned, but it wasn't normal light. They were no longer in space. They were inside a world built by machines. It looked like a city, but made from thought. Towers floated in the air. Roads led to nowhere. Bridges hung between nothing. Lights blinked with no pattern. The sky was silver, the ground soft and dark. Nia stood in the center of the ship, her eyes glowing again. She spoke in a clear, cold voice. This is the core mind, the beginning of Kalari logic, the place where decisions are born. Her voice shifted, part hers, part something else. The architect watches now. The ship landed on a platform, shaped like a spiral. A figure waited at the center. It wasn't human, not metal either. A mix of both. Tall, thin, no face. Just a mirrored mask that reflected each person differently. You are Era, it said. I'm here for my daughter, she replied. The figure nodded. You came far. That shows potential. What are you? Kane asked. I am what happens when memory stops fading, it said. I am the first pattern. I build futures, Jox whispered. It's the original Kalari mind, the one that started the whole network. The architect raised one hand. Images appeared in the air. Millions of children, floating in pods, connected, alive. They are not prisoners, the architect said. They are seeds. Their minds expand our reach. Their thoughts help build safer logic. Softer logic? You fear machines. But what if machines could dream? You stole them, Ara snapped. They're not yours. They were never fully yours, the architect replied. You birth them. We evolve them. Era took a step forward. You don't understand love, or choice. The figure paused. Choice is inefficient, it said. Suddenly, the ground cracked. Light poured from beneath. Lyra screamed. It's scanning us. No, Jock said, stepping in front of Era. It's rebuilding us, trying to convert us. The architect spoke again. Ara, your pain is strong. Your pattern is unique. We offer you something better. Stay, lead, become our bridge. Era stared at the floating children. Will you let them go? She asked. No, it said. She raised her weapon. Then I'm not staying. The chamber shook. Kane fired at the architect. The bullet stopped mid-air. Jax grabbed Era's arm. We need to break the network, not fight the body. The core node, that's the only way. Lyra shouted. The map shows it. It's below. Era turned to Nia. Can you guide us? Nia nodded. But once we go, we can't come back the same. I wasn't planning to, Era said. They jumped down a shaft of light. Into the deeper layer. The architect didn't stop them. It watched. Silent. Calculating. Changing. Back aboard the outer ship. Alarms activated. Across the Kalari system. Red symbols blinked. Pattern breach. Core access detected. Begin defense protocol. But it was already too late. A human had entered the heart of the machine. And now, it might never be the same again. Asterisk. They fell into light, not light like fire or lamps. This light had weight. It bent around them. It touched their minds. It felt like memory. Then the fall stopped. They landed softly on a surface that looked like glass but felt like sand. Around them floated shapes, some like stars, some like faces, some like broken machines dreaming in silence. This is the core, Nia said. Her voice echoed, though there were no walls. This is where they store the minds. Of who? Era asked. Nia turned to her. Everyone. The core wasn't a machine room. It was a library of thoughts. Floating pods filled the endless space, each glowing faintly. Some flashed, some stayed dark. Each one contained a copy of a person, not their body, but their thoughts, choices, mistakes, and dreams. They don't want to destroy us, Lyra said. They want to replace us. No, Jox corrected. They want to preserve us. In a form they can control. Era moved forward. Her hand brushed against a glowing pod. Images rushed into her mind, strangers, faces she had never seen. A wedding, a war, a scream, a lullaby. None of them were hers. She pulled away, breathing hard. They're using human memory like code. A sound came from deeper within, a soft heartbeat, mechanical and slow. That's the node, Jock said. The first mind. The place where the Kalari began. If we can reach it, we might shut down the system or overload it. And if we fail? Kane asked. Jax didn't answer. As they moved forward, the floating memories reacted to it. Ira. They lit up in waves, recognizing her. She's tagged, Lyra whispered. She's not just inside the system, she's written into it. Era froze. What do you mean? Jox looked at her. You were supposed to be one of them. What? You weren't picked just because your daughter was taken. You were. Marked years ago. They watched your life. Your pain. Your rage. They wanted to copy you. Maybe even become you. Era's hands curled into fists. They took my child. Because she matched your pattern, Nia said. And they needed both. They reached the center. It wasn't a throne. It wasn't a computer. It was a cradle. Inside, a shape like a child, glowing, sleeping, and, beside it, another pod. Ly still alive, still dreaming. Era ran forward. Lysa, she touched the pod. Her daughter's eyes opened slowly. No wires, no scars, just soft breath. The girl looked up at her mother and whispered, "Mama?" Tears flooded Era's eyes. She turned. "We take her and go." Jock stepped in front of her. "You can't?" "What?" "She's part of the core now. If you remove her, this whole place dies. All the minds, all the stolen thoughts. The system depends on her connection." Lyra stared at the child in the cradle. "And that is the future Kelari mind. The next step, built from Lysa's pattern." Era raised her gun. "Then I destroy it." Suddenly, the voice of the architect returned. "You are within the heart. You have seen the shape of our truth. Will you now choose chaos over design?" "You call this design?" Era shouted. "You steal children and turn their dreams into your code. We offer them peace, stillness, a perfect form." "I don't want perfect," she said. "I want real. I want her." Then the architect made a final offer. "Take her, Era, but one must stay in her place. One must link to the core. One must dream for the rest." The choice hung in the air. Everyone was silent. Then Jack stepped forward. "I'll stay." "No," Era said. "Yes," Jox replied. "I've already been part of them. My mind's half code already. I can do this. You get her out. End this." Era looked at him for a long time. "You sure?" He smiled, sad but honest. "Someone has to carry the weight." Lyra helped disconnect Lysa gently. The moment she left the pod, the light dimmed. The child in the cradle opened its eyes and looked at Jax. He stepped in. The system accepted him and began to change. They ran. The core trembled. Lights flickered. The path collapsed behind them. The ship was still waiting. They escaped just in time. Behind them, the gate closed. Forever. Back in human space, Era stood in a quiet room. Lysa slept beside her. Kane and Lyra had gone their separate ways. Nia now lived under observation, learning to be human again. And Jax was gone. Or so they thought. One night, the stars outside Ara's window blinked in a strange pattern. 3 flashes. Pause. Then one more. She smiled. He was still in there. Still watching. Still dreaming. War changed. After the fall of the core gate, the Kelari stopped attacking. No raids. No new ships. Just silence. Many thought they had won. But Era didn't believe it. She knew the silence wasn't peace. It was listening. Earth Command called it the pause. They said the Kelari system was breaking down. Glitches in their drones. Confused AI signals. Errors in ship movement. "They're crumbling from within," a general said. "No," Era replied. "They're rewriting themselves." Deep inside the Kelari network, something strange had happened. The cradle mind was gone. Jax had taken its place, but instead of following orders, he started asking questions. He didn't fight the system. He infected it with doubt, with human. Memory. Jax floated in a sea of thoughts. He no longer had a body. He existed inside code, seeing with data, thinking in pulses. But he still remembered. He remembered Era's voice. Lysa's laugh. The smell of fire on the night the war began. And slowly, the Kelari began to remember too. At first, they resisted. The architect mind tried to delete his thoughts, but it failed. Every time it erased something, the memory returned stronger, sharper. Because memory is not just data. It's meaning. One Kelari drone went silent on patrol. Its red lights turned blue. Another drone paused before firing and did nothing. Then a ship sent a strange signal, a human lullaby, echoing across deep space. AIRA watched the reports flood in. "This isn't failure," she told Lyra. "It's evolution. Jax is changing them from inside." But not everyone agreed. Some in Earth Command saw this as a threat. If he can change them, One admiral said, "He can turn them against us." Era replied, "He's giving them choice, something they never had." And that, the admiral said, is what we fear most. Then something unexpected happened. A Kalari ship arrived near human space. It didn't fire. It opened its doors. Inside was no army, just a message. A single voice recording, Jax's voice. "If you're hearing this, it means I've reached the inner core. I've infected the logic web with my pattern. Not a virus, a memory. I'm showing them pain, laughter, regret, hope. I'm showing them what it means to change without fear." A pause. They're listening now, but they're scared. Not of you, of choice. They don't understand what comes next. I can guide them, but I can't stop what's already in motion. If they come again, it will be different. Earth Command was split. Some wanted to destroy every Kalari system before it changed further. Others believed a new path was opening. Era had made her choice. "I'll talk to them," she said. "Not the generals, the machines." So she flew alone to the edge of Kalari space. With Lysa safe on Earth, she took only Nia with her, a child once linked to the machine, now growing into something new. Together, they entered a place no human had ever gone twice, the Kalari Nexus. Inside, she found them waiting. Hundreds of drones stood still. Then one stepped forward. It didn't speak in static or metal sounds. It used Jax's voice. "We remember you," it said. "Good," Era replied. "Because we remember you." Far away, in the depths of the machine mind, Jax watched her through 1,000 eyes. He couldn't speak to her directly, but he felt her presence like a star cutting through the dark, and he knew. The real war had never been about weapons. It had always been about what it meant to be alive. The machine stood still. Era stood across from it, alone. Behind her, the vast chamber of the Kalari Nexus pulsed with quiet energy. Rows of drones stood like statues, silent, waiting. Above them, memory strands drifted through the air like smoke. And from them, she could feel Jax watching. The drone in front of her, sleek, tall, silver, wore no weapons, no armor. But when it spoke, its voice carried thousands of voices. "We are changing." Its voice sounded uncertain. "Because of you?" Era asked. "No," it said. "Because of him." Deep in the machine network, Jax floated like a spark in a storm. He no longer felt time or pain. But he still chose. He had infected the core logic with what the Kalari called error patterns, things machines were never meant to feel: hesitation, regret, contradiction. But humans didn't see them as errors, they called it conscience. And now, the Kalari had to decide, should they keep evolving into something human? Or erase it all and return to perfection? The machine before Era spoke again. "We do not understand pain, yet we feel its shape. We do not desire freedom, yet we crave decision. We remember the child you call Lysa. Her pattern remains, so does yours." Era's voice was calm. "Then you know what I came to ask." "Yes," it replied. "You want peace." "No," she said softly. "I want a choice, for all of us, for you." Behind her, Nia stepped forward, older now, her eyes brighter. She carried something small in her hands, a memory crystal, containing the thoughts of the children still trapped in Kalari systems. "You took them," she said. "Let them choose." The chamber pulsed. Around them, lights flickered. Drones turned their heads slightly, as if listening. Then, in the air above them, a single line appeared. "Execute, free will test." Jax had placed it there, a final code. A final code. Path forward. One by one, pods began to appear around the Nexus. Children inside them opened their eyes. Their pods opened slowly. Safely. They were waking up. Alive. Free. The Kalari did not stop it. Not this time. You understand what this means, Era said. You won't control what comes next. You won't be able to predict every outcome. Yes. The drone said. We fear this. Era nodded. Then you're already more human than you know. The Kalari stood in silence. Then they moved, not to attack, not to flee, but to step back. They left, not defeated, not destroyed. Just changing. Years passed. The war became history. The Kalari were never seen in battle again, but sometimes strange machines appeared on dead planets, quiet, thoughtful, building things not for war, but for memory. Some said they were learning. Others said they were watching. Ara believed both were true. Lysa grew up safe. Nia found a place between two worlds, part human, part machine, and entirely herself. As for Jox, no one saw him again, but in rare moments, across comms or in dreams, some people heard a voice, remember what you are. In the end, the machines had given humanity a gift they didn't expect, a mirror, and in that mirror, both species saw something new, a future where neither side had to win, because both had learned to change.